ज्ञानेन आकाशकल्पेन धर्मान्यो गगनोपमान् ज्ञेया भेदेन सम्बुद्धः तं वन्दे द्विपदां वरम् ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः. Water is an important concept in Vedic literature. In fact, water is a devata in Vedic mantras and important component in Vedic rituals. Since water is devata, all rivers are devatas. Mother Saraswati, Mother Yamuna, Mother Ganga, they all are seen as mothers. Sindhu, Saraswati, Sarayu, three are sisters. They all are from Manasarovar, these three. And other rivers, they all were seen as great devatas in Rigveda Samhita. And as I said yesterday, any devata has an esoteric meaning in Rigveda. This water, apaha, this devata, its esoteric meaning is a fundamental energy. This is another interesting thing in Rigveda. How? Let us see. There are three kinds of pralayas. Pralayas. How to translate pralaya? Generally they call it as destruction. If you go to the etymological meaning of pralaya, we may not translate it as destruction. In a very peripheral understanding, can be destruction. Laya means merge. Prakarshena laya is pralaya. Means a deep merge is pralaya. Puranas are talking about four kinds of pralayas. One, nitya pralaya. This is deep sleep. Then naimittika pralaya. In naimittika pralaya, the whole solid will merge in water. Whatever we see, this sthula world, the gross world, merges in water. This is how the Purana says. So this is naimittika pralaya. You may take it to be, you may compare this with the ice age of the scientific discoveries. In ice age, everywhere water will be there. That kind of concept they are also talking. Scientists also say. So merge of all the gross things in water is naimittika pralaya. And a more difficult pralaya, which is Maha Pralaya, is not only a merge of water, fire, air, earth, everything merges. Not only that, even space merges. In Vedanta, space is also an object of creation. It's very interesting. Nyaya Shastra doesn't accept it, but in Vedanta is the only philosophy which says that the space is created. First of all, we need to accept the existence of space. That is another thing. To Greek philosophers, they have only four elements: air, fire, water and earth. They don't have space. They did not recognize space at all. Indian philosophers recognized one more element, that is space. Okay, everywhere. That is why the concept of zero was discovered in India. Unless you recognize space, you can't discover zero. Zero is a contribution of India. Coming back to the point, space. Vedanta considers space to be an object of creation. Atmanaha akasa sambhutaha. Akasa sambhutaha. Then akasad vayuhu vayor agnihi. Space also merges in Mahapralaya. All 5 elements merges in Mahapralaya. Sir, I can't imagine how you are talking about merging of space. Manusmriti says, Prasuptam iva sarvataha. You just take this Nitya Pralaya. What is Nitya Pralaya? Sleep, deep sleep. In deep sleep also space merges. So, we have everyday experience. In deep sleep, we don't recognize space. Neither we recognize all 4 elements, fire or earth. In deep sleep, we don't recognize light. Neither we recognize darkness. Both darkness and light. We go beyond these two. No, it's filled with darkness when I close my eyes. If we close our eyes, it is filled with darkness. But when we go to deep sleep, even darkness doesn't exist. The same way in Mahapralaya, neither darkness nor light, neither space nor matter exists. Nasid rajo no vyoma paroyat kimavari vakuhakasya sarman ambastadasid gahanam gabiram. Na mrityuhu amrutam tarhina. Devas and martyas are, mortals and immortals are not existing in this Mahapralaya. That is how Rigveda says. This is the, I think, 3rd Pralaya, Nitya Naimittika Mahapralaya. 4th Pralaya is Moksha, which is called as Atyanta Pralaya. These are the 4 kinds of Pralayas, in which water is taken to be fundamental energy for a simple reason. Naimittika Pralaya becomes a symbol of Mahapralaya. That's all. In Naimittika Pralaya, water alone exists. In Mahapralaya, even water merges, even space merges. Only the fundamental energy exists. So the water is a symbol of fundamental energy. That is how it is taken. Water is connected to the fundamental energy. Okay. So whenever, in the external world, in the manifested world, if some disorderliness is created, we observe in manifested world, everything is orderly. Yesterday we were dealing with the concept of rhythm. Everything is rhythmic in the external world. Rhythm is different, rhythmic is different. Rhythmic is an English word, rhythm is a Vedic term, but just I am bringing those together. The whole world is rhythmic, whole world is orderly, no doubt. But somewhere it transgresses the orderliness. We also see this. In some places, we see tsunami. In some places, we see earthquake. Normally, those who talk about the existence of God, they say that the nature is in orderliness, therefore God exists. This is a fundamental logic for the existence of God. So God is the cause of the orderliness in nature. This is how we take. Even atheists take in this way. Atheists deny God because of a simple reason that there are many disorderly things in the nature. If God is there, how tsunami can happen and millions can die? If God is there, how volcanic eruption can happen? Therefore, God doesn't exist. This is what they say. And if some suffering comes to me, then I become atheist. If God is there, how can I suffer? So some disorderliness is created in the world, therefore God doesn't exist. This is their logic. But what is greater in nature, in quantity? Orderliness or disorderliness? Orderliness. 99% of nature is in orderliness. Probably maximum 1% of nature is disorderly. If an atheist can deny God on seeing disorderliness 1%, then what is wrong in accepting God on seeing nature orderly for 99%? I hope that I am understandable. This is a very interesting thing. Therefore, God's feature is orderliness, and this orderliness, rhythm, gets manifested in this universe. Therefore, 99% of the world is orderly. Hardly, rarely, in some places we see disorderly things happening. When these disorderly things are happening, there are some yoga vidyas, there are some yoga siddhis, where they bring the fundamental energy and cure this disorderliness. 99% of external nature is orderly. This external nature is effect. If the effect is orderly, then the cause has to be orderly. Correct? So in effect, if something becomes disorderly, then we can bring the cause and cure this disorderliness, and we can remove that, we can eliminate the disorderliness and make it again orderly. This is the idea. Therefore, to remove disorderliness anywhere, the fundamental energy can be used in different ways. This is very fundamental in yoga therapy. I don't know whether it comes in Ayurveda or not. You have to explain. Sometimes I also have to sit in some Ayurveda classes to learn from you. This is very fundamental in yoga therapy, in siddhis, yoga siddhis. That is how very great yoga siddhas cure. This happens. Of course, I think in Reiki also it is very important. And there is a mantra in the Veda. Yesterday I was very happy to listen that mantra here. While they are doing Abhyanga, they were reciting that mantra. Ayam me hasto bhagavan, ayam me bhagavattaraha, ayam me vishwabhe eshajo yagum shivabhimarshanaha. I asked him, is this your personal thing? Whenever you start, you are chanting this, or is this this institution's feature? I asked him. Then he said, this is the rule of this institution. Any yoga therapist, any Ayurveda therapist chants this mantra while doing Abhyanga and all. Actually, it's a very wonderful mantra. Before treating a patient, a hand is very important, especially bringing energy in Reiki also. Ayam me hasto bhagavan. This hand is very auspicious. Bhaga means auspiciousness. Ayam me hasto bhagavan. This hand is auspicious. Ayam me bhagavattaraha. This is more and more auspicious. And ayam me vishwabheshajaha. Vishwabheshajaha means it heals all the diseases. May it be the Beshaja, may it be the healer of all beings in the world. Ayam me Vishwamastu Anaturam. In fact, Rudra is one of the physician deities, like Dhanvantari. Dhanvantari comes in Puranas, and Upaveda, of course, Ayurveda, and Rudra, Ashwins, in Tamil we call as Ashwini Kumaras. Okay, Ashwins. These are all the presiding deities of medication. Therefore, in the context of extolling Rudra, we chant the mantra Vishwamastu Anaturam. May the whole world be diseaseless. Vishwamastu Anaturam. The motto of this grama is Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha. Okay. Like that, this mantra, Vishwamastu Anaturam. May the whole world be diseaseless. Okay. Therefore, in this mantra also, Ayam me Vishwabeshajaha Shiva Vimarsanaha. When I touch someone, may this touch be auspicious. Shiva Vimarsanaha. So, if we chant any medication or healing with this mantra, it will be very much effective. Coming back to the point, using the fundamental energy to remove the disorderliness in the external gross world. This fundamental energy is potential, fundamental energy is unmanifest. We go to that unmanifest world and take that fundamental energy, come back and use this to remove the disorderliness. Since water is the symbol of fundamental energy, water also is used very much in therapy. This is another thing. Not only in therapy, wherever disorderliness comes, water can be used in the ritual to remove that disorderliness. This is one thing. Another thing, wherever impurity is found, Vedic seers saw that water can remove the impurity. Therefore, even the very word tirtham has two meanings. One meaning water, another meaning purity. That is why the great souls are called as tirthas, because they purify. Tirtha yatra becomes very important. We go to various tirthas. Tirtha also means kshetra. When we talk about, we are going to pilgrim spots, pilgrimage and all, it is called as not kshetra yatra. It is called as tirtha yatra. Because here river is more important than the place. Why Varanasi is extremely important? Due to Ganga. Why Kumbh Mela is very important? Because of Ganga and Yamuna. Kumbh Mela is very important. So river becomes very important in these contexts. So to purify us, we go to river. That is the idea. There is a Vaishnavite scholar in Tamil Nadu. You may know this name, D.A. Joseph. Have you heard of this name? This D.A. Joseph, he learnt Nalayar Divya Prabandham, and he is a very good scholar of Prabandham. Once he gave a lecture, it is available in YouTube. Why should we live as Hindus? Okay. You may know this name, David Frawley. He wrote a book, Why I Am a Hindu. These are all interesting books. Why should we live as Hindus? He is giving a lecture in Tamil. He gives 36 reasons. The first reason he gives, D.A. Joseph gives the first reason, Hindu Dharma teaches us to have bath. It's a very interesting observation. Everybody is taking bath in the world. Yes. But every day we have to wake up at early morning and we should have a bath. This idea is a Hindu idea. Okay. It is taken in such a way, yeah, chalta hai, all these things are universal, we think. That too in Kerala. I think Kerala is here. This is Coimbatore, this is Palakkad. That too in Kerala, they have bath twice in a day. Morning and evening, and definitely in river only. Okay, Bharatapuzhai. They go to Bharatapuzhai and they have bath twice in a day. That too, both baths are with the hair. Okay. That's very interesting. Mostly they have oil baths. Okay. And this is very interesting. Of course, Ashtanga Hridayam is from Kerala, which insists oil bath almost every day. So in culture also we see this with them. This having bath, before having bath, what we have to do, after having bath, what we have to do, and what kind of mud has to be used to remove the impurities in skin, All these things are well prescribed in the religious scriptures of Hinduism. If you go to Dharma Shastra, and what we can chant while having bath, what kind of mantras we can chant while having bath, all these things are prescribed in our scriptures. Therefore, bathing is a ritual in Hindu Dharma. In many other places, they may not have bath daily. Many people don't have bath early morning. In some countries I have seen they have bath before going to bed at night. Like that they do. But this early morning bath as a ritual is given in Hindu Dharma, so that here, even though we are, I think, 150 crore people, we are 150 crore people in India, we are still managing, we are hygienic. You just imagine if 150 crore people in India don't have bath every day. It's highly unhygienic. Fortunately, our scriptures have prescribed this. You must have bath every day morning. At least most of the people here are doing this. Therefore, it is manageable. Otherwise, it is unhygienic. So, bathing, where we use water. And then, whenever we feel some impurity touches our body, immediately we do achamana. Thrice we sip, we have 3 drops of water. Okay. So this, the belief, I don't know whether scientific papers are there. A belief is that by this the body gets purified. Not only this, Dharma Shastra prescribes every day, whenever we go for answering the call of nature, we can have bath. Even now we can see this with the orthodox Vaidikas of Uttar Pradesh and Madhya Pradesh. We can even still they are practicing this, having baths. And this Achamaniya, the same way we offer water to Bhagavan as oblation, this is called as Tarpana. Especially this water is connected to Pitrus. In Devata Karya, fire is very important. In Pitru Karyas, water becomes very important. Of course, to Devatas also we offer water. Every day in Sandhya ritual, when Palasamarpana comes, Palasamarpana means we offer the fruit of this ritual to Bhagavan Narayana. There also we offer water. Narayanayeti samarpayami. We offer water. In these places, the water is used in the rituals. Of course, rituals, we don't separate these rituals from our spiritual sadhana. Rituals can be mechanically performed as rituals. Rituals can be performed as a spiritual sadhana. So, in that context, I am including all these things in spiritual sadhana. So, in Achamaniya, also in Tarpana, in Palasamarpana, in bathing, and also Tirtha Yatra, in pilgrimage, this water becomes very important in our spiritual sadhanas. Not only this, one more thing. Kumbha Abhisheka. Like a Kumbha Mela, we have Kumbha Abhisheka. Kumbha Mela is very great. All saints are gathering only to celebrate the water. You don't have any temple there, no temple deity, no temple procession. Just to celebrate the water, crowds of people are coming. That is what we see in Kumbha Mela. So on seeing that Kumbha Mela, our elders thought, even in South India, there is a need of a Kumbha Mela. That is how the concept of Magamaham came, which the South Indians celebrate in a kshetram, in a pilgrim spot, which is called as, any idea? Kumbhakonam. Kumbhakonam is named as Kumbhakonam only after Kumbha Mela. And this is a southern Prayagraj. Kumbakonam is a southern Prayagraj, in which the same kind of Kumbh Mela has to happen, where all the sadhus have to come. With this idea, this is designed. As Kashi is in north, we have here 10 Kashi, southern Kashi in Tamil Nadu. And 10 Ayodhi, there is something called 10 Ayodhi in Tamil Nadu. The same way here, this Prayagraj, here Kumbakonam. Of course, in northern side also, north to Kashi also, there is one Kashi, from which Swamiji has come. Uttara Kashi, yes. Here 10 Kashi. Kashi is pan-Indian in this way. Coming back to the point. So for all these things, for Kumbha Abhisheka. In Kumbha Abhisheka, it is believed that energy is brought into the water. Okay. From the ritual fire. This avahana. From the ritual fire, energy is brought into water. And from the water, when this Kumbhabhisheka happens, the energy goes to the deity. That is the idea. This is how Kumbhabhisheka happens. And in fact, Kumbhabhisheka has two meanings. One external meaning, Kumbha means vessel, by that we are doing Abhisheka. Internal meaning, actually this is the real meaning, Kumbha is bringing the energies together. That is why in pranayama we call the main pranayama as Kumbhaka pranayama. Bringing the energies together is Kumbhaka. Kumbha Abhisheka is bringing the cosmic energies together and making those energies to enter into the deity, for which this Kumbha Abhisheka happens, where water plays a vital role. So with this, let me conclude water. Next, air. How air is used in our spiritual sadhana. We all know pranayama. Pranayama is a Vedic ritual. All the great souls, great sutrakaras like Apastamba, Bodhayana, Rashalayana, Latyayana, they all prescribe pranayama. No Vedic ritual is without pranayama. Starting from Sandhya Vandana, no Vedic ritual is without pranayama. Pranayama finds its source in Veda. Then we see in Yoga Shastras the same pranayama. Regarding pranayama, we all know the process, I hope. This Bahya Abhyantara Stamba. So pranayama has Puraka, Rechaka and Kumbhaka, inhalation, exhalation and stoppage of breath. Gradually, even without inhalation and exhalation, we can practice stoppage of breath. Stoppage of breath is a goal. In the Rig Veda, we have deities for all these things. For Puraka, there is a deity. And for Kumbhaka, there is a deity. Yes. You may be familiar with this Ashwins. Esoteric meaning of Ashwins is mastery over prana. Ashwa means prana. Ashwi means a master of prana. So it is a process of mastery over prana. This Ashwins, in only one sukta in Rig Veda, you find it. Among the Ashwins, one Ashwin is called as Chandra. Another one is called as Surya. Therefore, I take this to be Suryanuloma, Chandranuloma, Surya Bedana, Chandra Bedana, Surya Nadi, Chandra Nadi. All these things came from Ashwin's two names, Surya and Chandra. That is why I take this as Puraka and Rechaka. Ashwins are the presiding deities of Puraka and Rechaka, while Usha, you may be familiar with this name, Ushas. Another name of Ushas, Savitri. Sri Aurobindo's epic, Savitri, a very huge epic. Sri Aurobindo wrote a huge epic, Savitri. Savitri is none other than this Ushas of Rigveda. This Savitri is the Kumbhaka Devata. She is the presiding deity of Kumbhaka. This Purakan Rechaka are Ashwins. That is how the whole thing is coming. And Paridrishtaha Dirgha Deshakala Sankhyabihi Paridrishtaha Dirgha Sukshmaha. This is Patanjali's Sutra. Desha Kala Sankhyabihi. Patanjali is not going to specifics. How many seconds you have to hold, how many seconds you have to inhale, how many seconds you have to exhale. He is not going to specifics. He is just telling, like Kala Sankhya, that you can do to your capacity. It depends upon the individual sadhakas. Therefore, if I can inhale for some 4 seconds, I can't go more, don't force. Performing yoga without a very strong forcing kind of thing is the Raja Yoga way. Forcing and doing yoga is Hatha Yoga. Both are there in traditions. In fact, Hatha Yoga is the base of Raja Yoga. Gradually, when we grow in Raja Yoga, you can enjoy the breath instead of forcing and doing. Not only in pranayama, even in japa and all, gradually this force goes away. When you start to calculate, today I have recited this mantra some 10,000 times. These are all in beginning stage. Gradually, mind will stop to calculate because mind will get engaged, so engaged in mantra. You start to enjoy mantra, the meditation becomes effortless, then calculation also becomes a disturbance. See, when I do just an external japa, I can calculate. When I start to meditate the mantra without a second thought, then how can I calculate? Therefore, the calculation stops there. In the same way, while inhaling and exhaling, just if we understand this can be done to our ability, then naturally the inhalation exhalation process goes. Kala Sankhyabihi. Desha, in my view, is the desha of the nostril, not any external desha. While we are inhaling, while we are exhaling, the amount of air which should go and come out, all these are based on the, the space within the place or space within the nostril. Desha Kala Sankhyabihi Paridrishtaha. It should be very smooth. Breathing has to be very smooth in pranayama, which is very important. Smooth and slow, they go together. Not only with breath, anywhere. Anywhere, smooth and slow go together. Say, before creation, what energy was there? When there is an acceleration in energy, when it becomes rough, then we see this gross world. When the energy becomes slow and smooth, then it becomes unmanifested. Okay, this is what we see in creation. In the same way, in sadhana also, in mind, please understand, in mind, when the thoughts are very accelerated, thoughts become gross also. Thought becomes harder also. When thoughts are very slow and calm, then it becomes soft. Thoughts are getting reduced. Slowly we are going to our own core, Swarupa. If it is like this in mind, it has to be in the same way in this breath also. Okay, because breath and thoughts are connected. Of course, in Hatha Yoga Pradipika, there is a very popular shloka. Chalevate chalam chittam. When breath moves, mind also moves. That is why Sri Ramana Maharshi, while he is giving the message to Kavya Kanta Ganapati Muni, the first shloka, Pavana Chalana Rodhat, he says. When you are tracing the source of I thought, naturally breath stops, he says. Naturally, breath stops. Why this breath element he is bringing here in Vedanta? Sri Ramana Maharshi, he is well known as a Vedantin. That is how people understand him. But here he is bringing the yoga, that too pranayama. This self-enquiry or self-inquiry, exploring the source of all thoughts, well, you are staying in that me, in that pure consciousness. Gradually, breath is slowed. Why to go to that level? You go to a temple where you don't see crowd at all. You just stand in front of a deity, you can recognize that breath is slow. This is a natural pranayama. You go to a very great soul, a very great spiritual master, an acharya, sit in front of him, gradually breath becomes slow. Dirgha, sukshmaha. So while we are practicing pranayama, we should take care that the breath has to be very slow. And also subtle. While it becomes slow, it becomes subtle. Dirgha sukshmaha. But how to understand whether breath is slow or not in pranayama? Simple technique is given. While doing pranayama, take care that no hissing sound should come to a normal nostril. If you have some problem in nostril, hissing sound may come. If I am healthy, if my nose is normal without any cough and all, while I am performing pranayama without any sound, without any hissing sound, we need not see whether it is speed or slow. If we see just there is no hissing sound, then we can understand the breath is slow. It's a very interesting thing. So avoid this hissing sound and just observe, just do pranayama, inhale and exhale. With that, you just observe the breath. This itself gradually leads to kumbhaka. Slowly we are taken to that breathless state, by which thoughts are also reduced, by which mind is also slowed down. Mind gradually mind settles in the silence. So air is very much used here in spiritual sadhana to control the thoughts, to calm the thoughts. This is, I think, all about pranayama. Now let me come to another important, so fifth one, what is left? Space. This is a very interesting thing. As I said, this is space is the discovery of Indian philosophers. We can tell like that. Space. In several places in Upanishads, space is an important symbol of Brahman. Akasha Shariram Brahma hai, Taittiriya Upanishad. Kham Brahma in Chandogya Upanishad. Kham means space. Yadesha Akasha Anando Nasyat, Akashaha Tallingat. In all these things, space is viewed as a symbolic representation of Brahman. Brahman in Vedanta in non-dualistic Vedanta is Nirvishesha. Have you heard of this word, Nirvishesha? Nirvishesha means attributeless. Brahman doesn't have attributes at all. I think to explain the grandeur of space, let me start with Brahman. Attributeless space or attributeless Brahman. What does it mean? It doesn't have any sense, because no object in the world can be attributeless at all. This is a Purva Paksha. This is an objection. Objection is very strong. In few other schools, even in Vedanta and few other schools, they just reject this Nirvishesha Brahman, attributeless Brahman, telling that no object in the world can be attributeless at all. Even Brahman remains always with attributes, they say. An Advaitin may ask, in Pralaya, Brahman is attributeless. But the Purvapakshin says, even in Pralaya, Brahman is with attributes. And this is probably one of the most difficult Purvapakshas for Advaita philosophy. It is not an easy thing to be handled. In Pralaya also attributes are there. Okay. How do you know? Due to a very important assumption. When there is a starting of creation, these attributes emerge. It is also told in the Shastra, these attributes are not new. They are there even before this Pralaya. There was a previous creation. In that previous creation, these attributes were there. They only merged at the time of Pralaya, and now they are emerging. Therefore, what does it mean? These attributes were there in Pralaya also in a subtler form. If you accept the existence of Brahman, Brahman never existed without attributes at all, they say. Even in Pralaya, Brahman exists with attributes in subtler form. In the creation, Brahman exists with attributes in gross form. This is the difference. In Pralaya, attributes are in subtler form. In creation, attributes are in gross form. That's all. There is a mantra in Rigveda, Surya Chandramasau Dhata Yatha Purvam Akalpayat. Brahman created this world as it was before, after Pralaya, as it was before, after Pralaya. It means even before Pralaya, world was existing. How long? For that world also there was one Pralaya. Before that the world was existing. Before that world was existing. Before that world was existing. Therefore, this creation is beginningless in our Shastra. Creation is beginningless. Since the creation is beginningless, its end also is endless. Okay. Pralaya also is endless. There will be infinite numbers of pralayas, there will be infinite numbers of srishtis. Yeah, very great intellectual named Carl Sagan. He says, this Hindu culture, Hindu philosophy or Indian philosophy is the only philosophy which talks about beginninglessness of creation. Not only that, which talks about the time as a cyclic. It's very interesting. To all others, time is linear. In Indian philosophy, time is cyclic. Krita, Treta, Dwapara, all these things. So in this beginningless and the endless flow, we have to be always in the middle. Since there is no beginning, no end. If this is the case, where is the time where Brahman remained attributeless? This is one of the toughest questions, for which a Vedantin answers. It is true that even in Pralaya, attributes are in subtler form. It is true that Brahman is always with attributes. I am not denying that Brahman is not with attributes. I am not denying. But a very important thing, attributes are always attributes and Brahman is always Brahman. The Visheshas themselves cannot become Swarupa. Swarupa is Swarupa, Visheshas are Visheshas, whether in Pralaya or in Srishti, whether in creation or in merge. You can't mistake attributes to be the core. Core is always the core. Attributes are always attributes. In this way, the existence of Nirvishesha Brahman is established in Vedanta. This is a very interesting thing. It is not that attributes don't exist. We agree, we accept the existence of attributes. But you can't take attributes to be Brahman, like Buddhism says. Okay. In Buddhism, they don't accept the existence of the core. Okay. It is just a flow and flow and flow. That is why Buddhism is called as Nairatmyavada. In Buddhism, there is nothing called Atman. And various thought forces can go and come, that's all. But in Vedanta, when they talk about the eternity of core, there is some eternal core. The core exists. Peripherally with the core, all these attributes are existing. This is how the Vedanta deals with the thing. For this, if you have to see an example, we can take the space. That is why I talked all these things. When you come to the space, is there at all an existence of space? An important question. Where does the space exist? Yeah, space exists. There, upar. Sky. Or sky and space are one. Probably. When it is up, it is called a sky. Up above the sky. Twinkle, twinkle, little stars. Okay. Up above the sky. When space is existing, up it is sky. But space exists here also. Please understand. Where does it exist? Come on, where does it exist? In between me and you. Everywhere around space is existing. It doesn't exist. In between you and me, air is existing. Where does the space exist? Of course, air can be taken as space. We can't take air as space, because if you can take air as space, then this mic also can be taken as space. This body also can be taken as space. This flask also can be space. Flask is an object. Mic is an object. In between mic and flask, space exists, you are telling. Because these two objects you recognize, therefore you are telling space is. I am telling air is existing in between flask and mic. Space is not existing. Air is an object which is flowing in between mic and space. Where is space? Yes. You can remove even the air from space. Scientists generally do that. There is a space where air also can be removed. Can be. But some other object will exist. Even if you remove air, some dust particles will exist in space. No, I can remove all the dust particles from space. You can't. You can't. You may call few things as dust particles and can remove those dust particles from space, I agree. But in reality, if you go to physics, they say, even if you remove anything and everything from space, there is something called electromagnetic waves which are moving in space. I can call these electromagnetic waves as object, therefore, you can't say even that place is space. Where is the space? The question is remaining unanswered. Where is the space? Because air is there, or dust particles there, or this mic, or this flask, or electromagnetic waves. Removing all these things, you can't bring an absolute space up to our time, at least. Probably in future they may do. Up to our time, it has not yet come. Still some particles exist in space. Some vibration will be there. And some sound will be there with space. That is why in Nyaya Shastra we see, sound is the feature of space. Shabda gunakam akasam. Okay. We may wonder how sound can be the feature of space. Sound comes in air, I agree. Sound comes in water, I agree. But why sound is identified with space? This is my own view. Since these electromagnetic waves cannot be separated from space, since electromagnetic waves have sound, sound also is up to our times inseparable from space. You can't identify this sound just with air or fire. It has to be identified with space. And space which Nyaya Shastra is talking about, the space only with some particles. That is why the sound is identified with space. Okay. Coming to the point, can we say, since we can't see anywhere the absolute space, can we say that space doesn't exist? No, we can't tell. Because space is used in various theories and various laws of nature. Without accepting space, science cannot further progress. Therefore, science is accepting the existence of space which is not yet proven. Space is not proven. Space is not an established fact. Nobody has seen space up to our time. But still science accepts it. Then only science can progress. I am not just telling space is a belief. Neither it is a belief, nor it is a proven fact. Something like Brahman. Okay. It has to be accepted, otherwise mathematics cannot further proceed. Physics cannot further proceed. They may call it as bare vacuum. You may call it as bare vacuum. Space proper definition. Space without all these dust particles. Now let me come to the etymological meaning of the space. Not the space, I'm sorry. What is space in Sanskrit? Akasha. Akasha. The etymological meaning of Akasha is Avakashaha anena diyate iti Akashaha. In fact, the word Akasha has its own core definition. Even the very word Akasha defines it. Akasha is that which gives you the space. If you put it in a simpler word, Akasha is that which accommodates. Akasha is that which accommodates. You see, all these things are accommodated. Okay. All these things are accommodated. Therefore, you have to but accept the existence of space. That which accommodates anything and everything which is visible is called as space or Akasha. Since all these things are accommodated, you have to accept the space, because space is the cause of this accommodation. In the same way, you have to accept the Nirvishesha Brahman. Since all these things are accommodated, since all these things are known, since all these things are known to the fundamental consciousness, this existence of this consciousness, the pure consciousness, the attributeless consciousness, has to be accepted. Okay, everything is perceived. Not only perceived, the perceived things are registered. Pratyabhigya. Whenever we want all these things to come up, they emerge. We go to the deep sleep. When we wake up, while we are waking up, all those things are recollected. Okay, yesterday I stopped with, in lecture, I stopped with fire. Okay. Today, early morning, I wake up, I feel that I have to start with water. In between, the thoughts, they merge. The place in which they merge is the consciousness, is that Atman. That is how Atman has to be understood. In all these things are restored in Atman. The next day, all these things are coming out of this Atman. This Pratyabhigya is a feature of Atman. In this way, Atman has to be understood. So, throughout Vedanta, two things come to explain you Atman. One, deep sleep. Therefore, jocularly, the Vedanta students say, when you sit in Vedanta class, sleep comes quite often. Okay. Sleep is example in Vedanta. Okay. Without this sleep as example, you can't understand Vedanta at all. Fortunately, the sleep exists. There is one place in Taittiriya Upanishad in Shankara Bhashya. Very interesting. Shankaracharya not only takes Sushupti as example, but also takes Samadhi as example. Yeah. It's a very important thing. Regarding this, Swapa Samapatyoho, he says, in Samapatti means Samadhi. In Samapatti and Sushupti, you don't see the attributes at all. You don't have the example of attributes at all. But if the Samadhi is given as example, people may not understand. For a commoner, deep sleep is a very good example. Therefore, deep sleep example is quite often taken by Shankaracharya. In Vedanta, two things come. One, sleep as example. Another one, space as example. With the idea of space, with the space you can easily explain Brahman. How me and Brahman are one in Advaita philosophy. If someone asks, how can be me and Brahman are one? Then this example is given like Mahakasha and Ghatakashas are one and same. Ghatakasha means the space in various pots, P-O-T. And the space generally, the macrocosmic space and space found in pots. Pots may differ. There can be a small pot, there can be a big pot. There can be various pots, but the space is one and the same. Space that exists in pots are one and the same. Asariram sarireshu anavasteshu avasthitam. So in the same way, one Atman exists in all beings. This is how the space is given as an example in Vedanta. In yoga sadhana also space can come. To put in a simple language, you are sitting in front of a computer, in front of a laptop, having that laptop on the top of your lap. That is why it is called as laptop, which we are not supposed to do. Watching this laptop for 5 to 6 hours, because this is a project today. Work from home. It started with Corona, but it is not ending. It is something like, Pradhamsa Bhava. It has a beginning, it doesn't end. Okay. Work from home. And going on and on. Like sitting with computer for hours together. Slowly, what happens? I want to relax. After 7 hours, I want to relax. Then what I am doing? I go to upstairs. Why? I go for a walk. Just in this grama, I am walking all alone. Seeing green everywhere. I am walking in a beach. Seeing the water, seeing the sea. Why? Because I am relaxed. Why I am relaxed? By seeing that water, by seeing this green, by seeing the space. I wish to go to upstairs to have relaxation. This is because I experience the space around. Okay, space gives relaxation. What is yoga? Any method to calm the mind is yoga. Manaf prashamana upayaha yogaha. Upayaha is method. Manaf prashamana means any method to calm the mind is yoga. Therefore, very importantly, meditating the space is a component in yoga. When you are sad, or when you are greedy, when you are jealous of some other person, you can see that your mind is like this. See the experience the jealousy. When jealousy is coming, experience it. Mind is like this. Mind is narrowed. Mind is speedy. Mind is gross. And it is fixed in the gross objects. This gross man and his own activities, which I don't like. Mind is like this. So mind is speedy, mind is gross, mind is also concentrated. Mind is like this. You need a space now for relaxation. When you are in happiness, when you experience happiness, how mind is? Mind is relaxed, mind is expanded. In fact, there is a word, come, in Sanskrit. With Mahaprana, if you say come, it is space. With Alpaprana, if you say come, it is joy. Okay. And joy and space are identified. That is how we see this formula in Chandogya Upanishad, Kam Brahma, Kam Brahma. Okay. So, when you are in upstairs, after a long hours of work, your mind is getting expanded, happy. It's a very wonderful technique. Whenever we are jealous, whenever we are greedy, whenever we are stressful, at that time, voluntarily, deliberately, we can meditate on space. Blue sky meditation. Normally, in several yoga schools, they interpret Ananta Samapatti. When they derive Ananta Samapatti into practice, there is Patanjali Sutra Ananta Samapatti, Prayatna Shaitilya Ananta Samapatti Bhyam. When they derive this Ananta Samapatti into practice, they teach us the blue sky meditation. Okay. When you identify yourself with that blue sky, you get completely relaxed. Or when you are sitting in Kanyakumari, Vivekananda Rock Memorial, around you the ocean will be there, above space, you are completely, totally relaxed. That relaxation comes. In this way, this space is used in yoga sadhana, spiritual sadhana. This is called as Chidambara Rahasyam. Have you heard of Chidambara Rahasyam? This is Chidambara Rahasyam. When you go to Chidambaram, Chidambaram is a town in Tamil Nadu, we all know. Very ancient temple, Nataraja's temple. Lord Shiva is dancing there. Lord Shiva is the Utsava Murti. Utsava Murti is a Murti which is taken for processions. Then there will be a Moola Murti everywhere. Moola Murti will be in stone. Utsava Murti will be in metal, generally. In Chidambaram, they show Utsava Murti in metal. For Moola Murti, they don't show a stone Murti. They will have a screen, they will open it and show just the space. Okay, the space is a Murti, is a Moola Murti. Space is the Moola Murti. Chidambaram, even the very word is like that. Ambaram means space, Chit means consciousness. Conscious space from which all the mantras are coming. Richo Akshare Parame Vyoman. Conscious space which is the place of creativity. Very important. It's a place of creativity. Neti neti tyadeshaha. Rejecting anything and everything as not the attribute of this pure self. There are some philosophers, when they talk, they start to reject anything and everything in the world. Okay. They just shun. Like, can you name any philosopher like that? Krishnamurti. You are talking about? Sorry? Yeah. J. Krishnamurti. If you go through his writings or lectures, you feel that he is rejecting. Buddha himself is like that, of course. While he is rejecting all these things, sometimes we may question, we may think, is his philosophy consistent with Vedanta or not? If this question comes. Sometimes it may appear that it is not consistent with Vedanta, but while he is going on rejecting the things, in some places he uses the word When you remove all these notions, when you nullify all these notions, then starts, he may not use the word Atman, he says, then starts creativity. Yeah. That is his usage. Then starts, another word he uses, love. The word love which he uses and creativity which he uses, that is a Vedantic Atman. This is another language he is talking, that's all. When you are going on stopping all these thoughts, Chittavritti Nirodha, you come to that place where you can't nullify one thing, which you may call as Atman or Brahman or creativity or love, based on your experience. That is a real creativity, original love. And in this one stays, where I left, in between Krishnamurti came. Yeah, since it is a sthana of creativity, from that depth of the heart, Vedic mantras come, Ruchaha Akshare Parame Vyoman. From that, various verses can come, various poems can come. Sri Aurobindo says that poems can come from any sheath of this personality, from mind or from prana, from the materialistic nature, from anything poem can come. But the poem which is coming from that core consciousness is called as mantra. Okay, that is called as mantra. So, settling in this core consciousness for which we are using all these 5 elements, starting from earth up to the space. So, these are used in our spiritual sadhanas. One more thing I want to convey. How we include all these things in sadhana? This is because of an important reason. Because we include nature in our spiritual sadhana. This is very unique nature of Sanatana Dharma, Hindu Dharma. Why and how? Because we don't see Brahman or the core consciousness different from this nature. Nature and Brahman are one. Sometimes when we travel in some car, in front of our car you can see another car where it is written as, don't worship the nature, worship its creator. And this chapter number, this passage number, this quotation also is given from some scripture. Don't worship nature, worship its creator. That is how it is given. When I saw that passage, I am reminded of another passage from Rigveda. This comes in Vishwakarma Sukta, which says, Hota Juhvat. This mantra comes like that. The creator, after creating everything, he worshipped the creation. Who? Creator himself. Creator himself performed yajna, having the creation as the deity. How it's possible? It's nothing but a Shilpi. He is creating a Shilpa, and the same Shilpi is Arun Yogiraj, you may be knowing. He created this Ram Lalla and he is worshipping now Ram Lalla. Finished. And this is something unique. Tad Atmanagga Swayama Kuruta. This Shilpa is something different. To make this creation, he made himself the substance. The divine, Brahman, made itself the substance to have this creation. That is what it is told. If you see this Nataraja, his one foot is silence, another foot is action. One is static, another one is dynamic. So this dynamic foot represents Prakriti, and the static foot represents a space, or what to say, a Purusha. Purusha. So this is Chidambara Rahasyam. Chidambara Rahasyam. With the whole of the nature, we need to see the object and the space around the object. Since Brahman is infinite, Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. Since Brahman is infinite, Anantam, Brahman is pure Gnosis, Jnanam. Brahman is changeless, Satyam. Since Brahman is this infinite, we can include all 5 bhutas in our spiritual sadhana. Not only including, we see the same Brahman in all these 5 elements, 5 bhutas, space or air. In all these things, we see the same Brahman, same divine. And seeing the Brahman in all the 5 bhutas is the essence of using all these 5 bhutas in spiritual sadhana. So with this we conclude, and it's a wonderful experience in our grama, Vaidya grama and Nivritti grama. Few other gramas are also going to come. Let us pray Bhagavan Dhanvantari for the emergence of all these gramas and welfare for all these gramavasis, and nice vision and mission of the persons like Dr. Ramkumar ji and others who are working here very sincerely and selflessly. And we pray for their health and long life so that they can serve more and more. And I am thanking Shri Vijayalakshmi ji also to introduce this grama to me. Dhanyavadaha.
Dhanyavad. Before we conclude, any questions before we let Doctor go? If not, Doctor, one question that came to mind is, you mentioned that if you take something from space, yet something remains and something remains.
Yes.
But in the modern world, we've also been told that there is nothingness that exists. So is there a dichotomy between that and nothingness, or there's always something in space?
Yeah. See, the word nothingness is used for so many things. But let me take this in this way. Yeah, very interesting question. Holding all these particles, something is existing. That's the idea. So in the same way, when all these thoughts are coming up, as a witness of all these thoughts, not only thoughts, Patanjali beautifully puts it as vrittis. I don't know how to translate this vritti. Vritti can include thoughts, vritti can include psychic imprints, vritti can include our feelings, emotions, and vasana. Okay, vasana. For many of the words we don't have English translation at all. How to translate vasana, I don't know. All these things are vrittis. Gradually, when you dispel these vrittis through yoga sadhana, yeah, you may call it as dispelling. Better way to call, a Vedantic way to call, gradually when you are merging, Krishna says in that way, Tadvat kamaha yam pravishanti sarve sa shantim apno. He is not telling dispelling kamas. He is talking about merging kamas. Not only kamas, kama means vasana, all the chitta vrittis. Merging all the chitta vrittis in that infinite consciousness. Finally, if not even a single chitta vritti is existing, then the pure consciousness alone exists. This is called as Nirvisesha Samadhi or Nirvikalpa Samadhi or Nirbija Samadhi in Patanjali's language. You may call it as nothingness, nothing wrong. Okay, we can call it as nothingness. Normally in Vedanta, unmanifest nature is called as nothingness. In Savitri epic starts in that way. You know, the starting point of Savitri, fathomless zero occupied the world. There is a, okay. So, the unmanifest nature is taken to be nothingness or zero. The witness of the unmanifest nature is not taken to be nothingness in Vedanta, but we can see in that way also, since it is attributeless. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ranganji. We'd like to call upon one of the... Oh, you have a question, I'm sure. Sorry, sir, if you're okay.
Mike.
We are told that Pralaya will bring the end of Kali Yuga.
Yeah.
Is it certain that Satyug will
Yeah.
follow
Yes. Yes.
Kali Yuga
Yeah,
and
yeah.
the Pralaya?
Yes. Yes.
So it's something to look forward to, right? Not
Yeah.
to dread.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
True.
the time frame that they give is thousands and lakhs of
Yeah,
years.
That's a
is
very
that
difficult
real?
question. We may later answer, but this is a very interesting
And the
thing.
time frame, if you could tell us.
Yeah,
is it
time
really
frame is a
gonna
very
be-
difficult question about which I myself don't have clarity. So, before this, first question is very useful also. Normally, there is a, what to say, kind of lament everywhere among Hindus. Oh, this is Kali Yuga, this is very terrible. Since it is Kali Yuga, things will be like this only. We are habituated to these laments for generations together. It has its own benefit, of course. It makes us humble. Okay, that is its benefit. Okay, it makes us humble. And it has its own demerit also. We lose the confidence regarding dharma, morality. It is this a demerit. And regarding Kali Yuga, whether it has lakhs of years or, as you said, many lakhs of years Kali Yuga will run or not, one thing is for sure, Kali Yuga doesn't end with the ultimate destruction. Popularly, the popular belief is that Kali Yuga will be destroyed. Kali Yuga will, end with a very huge kind of tsunami. Am I right? Purana doesn't tell like that. The popular notion is that Kalki will come and he will destroy all beings in the world because all beings will be adharmic. This is a popular notion. No Purana tells like this, for your information. Purana talks about Kalki Avatara. As soon as Kalki comes, Bhagavatam says, as soon as Kalki comes, the minds of the people will be enlarged. And as soon as Kalki comes, take that Satya Yuga, that is Krita Yuga, has started already. Okay, Kalki is not coming to destroy the world, but to inaugurate Krita Yuga. With Kalki, Krita Yuga will start. This is what is told in Puranas, that we have to understand. Therefore, first of all, we should trust. We are traveling towards something positive. Then only we can be dharmic, we can enhance in dharma and spirituality. Giving up this lament, Kali Yuga will be like this only. We need to move forward towards that Krita Yuga. And some great souls like Sri Aurobindo or Swami Vivekananda, and you may be familiar with another famous person, Lahari Mahashaya. Yeah. These great souls have clearly told that in near future, there is something very great, positive, which is going to happen. Okay. Regarding so many terms, I don't want to go into those terms, like supramental manifestation and all. So let us aspire that and proceed further.